Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod. That would have been We Want the Funk. You gotta have that funk by Gerardo from the beginning of the episode in the cardio funk class where we first meet. Look, we don't do the EST here, but the whitest participant in a cardio funk class ever, Tim?
Oh my God.
Yeah, Tim's a
Look,
mess.
very few people were on beat.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, because everything's a fucking mess. Not just there, but in the Peach Pit as well.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, we should probably introduce ourselves. I am Jeff, and I don't know how Sinatra does it. 75 and still gets up there. And joining me on the other end of the internet, my host.
I'm Leslie, and I feel a song coming on.
Oh, man, there's too many people feeling songs coming on in this episode. I mean, that is empirical fact. Today, we are discussing Season 2, Episode 23, Cardio Funk. Original air date, February 27th, 1992. This was their idea of sweeps.
Oh.
I mean, this is still hanging on for sweeps. We started the month.
It's foreshadowing something.
It might well be. We started this month with condoms in school, which we can all agree is just a straight banger. And then we got Baby Makes Five, which is some silly farcical shit about...
Came from banging?
Yeah, that is 100%. And then we got Cardio Funk. So, in a way, the whole month has been set up, for things to come. I mean, we discussed a little bit the Donna's virginity of it all, and what happens, the unintended consequences of little Aaron Silver coming into the world at some point. And now all of the various things that may be having seeds planted in this episode.
Once again, the sex puns continue. Seeds being planted. It's great.
I got your pistol right here. Grease 2, baby. Taking it all the way back.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do it for our country. Yeah. Oh, man. It's another place where people shouldn't be singing in Rydell High School the second time around.
That's why they're not... that's why their graduation rate is so low, because people spend more time singing than learning.
It's true. Oh, man. So what happens in this episode? It starts out oddly in that it starts out with the B plot.
Yeah.
There's this thing where, standard pop song structure is verse, refrain, bridge, verse, refrain, coda.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just kind of that way. And you're so used to Beatles songs and how they, how this Beatles song is and whatever. And then you realize as you listen to some of them a little bit, as they get more and more advanced, they do things like starting with the bridge. And you're like, yeah, I didn't even realize they did that, but that's super crazy. Nobody starts with the bridge and then rolls into the refrain and then the verse. And they kind of did that here, where they're like, what we're going to start this with? Karaoke. Because karaoke is awesome. And we're just going to lean all the way in. It gives Jim a chance to shine. If shine is the word that we want to use for what Jim does.
He's the best of what we had in this episode.
That's true. That is valedictorian of summer school shit right there. I mean, that is the tallest short guy in the room.
And I think even any issues he might have had were choices he made to play up the dad factor of it.
I mean, I think as a performer, yes. I think as James Eckhouse, yes. As Jim Walsh, I think that's just who this dude is.
Well, yeah. I don't think Jim is supposed to be some amazing singer, although wouldn't that have been a kicker?
It would have been. Yeah, if suddenly he was like Jim Neighbors.
Like, he gave up poetry and a singing career?
Right?
Like, this
Just
he
to be
was
an
actually
accountant?
James Taylor? Like, what?
Right. I would love it if James Eckhouse turned out to be like Gomer Pyle. Where it's like, golly. And then all of a sudden you hear him sing Back Home Again in Indiana, and you're like, what? That's a thing he can do? But
I'm so glad that I know that reference. Shout out to my dad.
that's right. Look up Jim Neighbors' heavenly singing voice, everybody, if you're unfamiliar, and then watch a clip of Gomer Pyle, and your mind will be blown.
Shazam!
Golly! I feel like our demographic knows Gomer Pyle and Jim Neighbors. Like, I feel like we don't have to explain that too much to the my age crowd.
I'm having a harder time getting my age crowd to listen.
Yeah, you know what? You got to get those people on board. I mean, because they're missing out. There's shit to learn. Like, I posted something on this Gen X Facebook page. Somebody was like, podcasts, and I was like, podcasts? I have a podcast.
Yeah.
And so I put it on there, and I mentioned that you've never seen the show, et cetera, et cetera. And somebody was like, well, I've never seen the show either. I'm like, then you'll love it.
Yeah.
Because, because we're fucking delightful is the answer.
Yeah, I'm working on my enticing skills because it seems that people support and like me, but then they don't want to listen to me. Maybe because I'm so depressing on social media that they think I'm going to carry that over. And it's like, but I'm funny and depressing.
You got to keep reminding people, like, repeatedly. Like, last night, I got a text from my boss who was having, I don't know, just hanging out with people. And they were talking about bourbon. And she was like, then I was telling the story about how you found me this bottle of bourbon that I was looking for and what a pain or whatever it was to get it to me. And I realized that maybe I didn't pay you back for it. And I'm like, Jesus, I don't know. That was like 3 years ago. I don't remember. But tell people about the peach pod and we're square. So
there you go.
Yeah, I'm just taking every opportunity to just shamelessly promote this fucking awesome thing that we're doing every week.
There you go.
So, which is what Nat was doing with the karaoke machine. Like, he really needed to get that out there. But that's not what this episode is about. What this episode is about is Brenda and Dylan cheating on each other with people.
Having mental affairs, as it were.
But also little affairs, too.
There's a lot of full frontal snogging.
Yeah, there was. So Brenda and Kelly take a cardio funk class, which is just, aerobics set to Gerardo.
It's early days of Zumba for my younger crowd when you join us.
Yeah, for sure. And it's and they're doing that because Dylan is in a Friday night AA meeting. And at the cardio funk class, Tim high steps his way to the back row awkwardly, flirts with Brenda and ignores Kelly, which is like, it's a bad move on his part. I don't understand the strategy, but
I don't even. They're both gorgeous.
Yeah, and just like, oh, you have a boyfriend? Maybe I'll talk to you, or like start out talking to both of them, and see who's available, and then focus your attention the right way.
Yeah.
But he throws his hat over the wall of Brenda, and is just decided that that's where he's going. Meanwhile, Dylan is at his AA meeting, where Sarah's back.
Yeah.
From the green room. AA is my green room. And she's up there talking about how even though her life was saved by the Walsh twins, things have not been going super great for her. She started dating Bosch, Titus Welliver himself, and they're both drunkards, and that ain't good for nobody.
Nope. And
so, I don't know, he roughed her up, and she kicked him out, and now she's at AA, which is like a good step. And Dylan's like, I know that chick. Not like, she was a really good friend of mine when I hung out with these surf doofuses. But whatever. And she's like, I know you. Yeah, you were like good friends. Dingbat. Of course you know him. Like that, you guys. Or is this one of those? Do you have this in college where they would put a poster in the dorm hallway that said, "Are you making friends or drinking buddies?"
Oh shit!
Did you ever see that sign? Did you ever have that sign?
No, if I did. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, we had that sign.
Wow. I Wow, I'm so sad I don't remember. And no, not because of how much drinking I did in college, but how much drinking I've done in my adult life.
Since then, right? You had to make up for it.
When it makes sense.
Uh huh. When there's things to drink away.
Yes.
But back to AA.
Oh God.
Yeah. So, she sort of ends up like glomming onto Dylan for a little bit of sponsor action.
Oh
And
yeah.
Dylan's happy to help. And they end up snogging, and she ends up drinking, and she ends up back with the boyfriend who Dylan punches because
She
Dylan kicks
blames Dylan.
ass. Yep. You shouldn't punch my boyfriend, Dylan. He's just here getting me drunk.
I'm drunk
Uh,
because of you.
that's right. And well, yeah, it's good to blame people for your problems. Surf Betty. And then Tim just won't give up, even after Brenda says, I have a boyfriend, and also I'm not going to give you my phone number. He gets her phone number, and he calls her like a lot,
I feel
and he
like
won't knock it off.
maybe the Yellow Pages.
White pages.
Didn't we have both?
Yeah, but
Oh,
yellow pages are for businesses.
See, I never knew that part.
Yeah. When you get the phone book, you get two. It depends on where you live, whether you get two of them or just one that's a big one. We used to get one that was a big one. It was called the Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
The white pages are people. The yellow pages at the back are businesses.
Wow.
So I guess he could have picked up the Yellow Pages. I wonder, because LA is really big. I wonder if they had, like, Glendale had their own white pages, and Hermosa Beach had its own white pages, and Compton had their own white pages. Like, the different parts of the city or surrounding areas probably had their own, because one big ass phone book for all of Los Angeles probably would have been unwieldy.
Yeah, I think that's how he got her number.
Okay, that's probably true. I forgot that
She
people had
seems
phone
surprised,
books.
like he's calling.
Right. Yeah. How many Walshes do you think he had to call? Because she doesn't know Jim's name.
That's true. I don't know. See, I had it so easy as a kid, Spitznagel. Like, yes, there were a ton of us in the area, but like, okay, 20.
Yeah. Do you think Jim in the white pages is James Walsh, Jim Walsh, or Jay Walsh? How do you think he put his name in the white page? You think James?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it even more confusing for people to try. I mean, because some people just don't know that Jim is short for James because they're teenagers.
Any more confusing than Jack and Hubert?
No, nothing's more confusing than that, but that's the best. Shouts to Pop.
Yep.
So, yeah, Dylan tries to save Sarah, makes out with her a little bit, shuts it down. After he shuts it down, she drinks. She goes back to Bosch. And then Bosch is a TV show, by the way, that I've never seen. It's on Amazon.
Oh, I was
really
like,
good.
I don't know who Bosch is, but I'm just going along with this because,
Yeah, no, the actor plays the title character.
Oh, okay. Well, good for him.
Yeah, he's the star of Bosch, which is a show that like a lot of people like, and it's been on for like 10 years or something. There's a lot
a long
of it.
way.
Yeah, he's getting it done. This episode's full of people like that. There's just like people famous outside of 90210 popping up in this episode. Like Dylan's sponsor at AA is John Densmore, the drummer for the Doors.
I saw that. It's like, what are you doing here?
Here's my guess. That AA is important to the writers of the show. And obviously music is important because there's so much music in the show. And this episode in particular is a lot of music. And probably they knew each other in some, like, he probably knew one of the people who were writing on the show. I don't know if Larry Mullen was around yet or not, or if it was, Chuck Rosen or whoever, but I feel like John Densmore was probably clean, was probably like real pro AA. Let's do something about that in the show. That, somehow that all came together because it was important to both parties.
Yeah.
And this was right around the time of the Doors movie. When the Doors were having you don't know about the Doors movie? Oh my Lord.
Nope.
It's Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison.
What?
Great. Yes, he's great in it. He's really good in it. And yes, it came out in 91. So this is in the Doors renaissance. Like the reemergence of the Doors popularity following this movie was really big. And so bringing John Densmore in here at that time, I think makes a lot of sense. But now you look at it, you go, wait, what's the guy from the Doors doing in this movie? If you knew that was the guy from the Doors, which I'm sure you didn't, but...
No, but thank you, IMDb. You saved me once again.
Yeah. I recognized him. I'm like, is that John Densmore? And I Googled it up, and sure as shit, there it is, John Densmore. Is Dylan's AA sponsor, which is quite something.
Yeah.
So... Yeah. So yeah, Tim succeeds, gets a little bit of Brenda.
Yeah.
Then Brenda cuts it off. Not Lorena Bobbitt style, but cuts it off. And Sarah cuts it off, and because karaoke sucks, Nat unplugs it, and we're moving on. That's what happens in this episode. What are your thoughts on this episode? Did you love it, or are you going to list it? That's an HGTV joke.
Oh, okay. When I first watched this episode a week ago, I was yelling at the screen a lot, as usual.
Okay, sure.
I shouldn't say as usual, but like here's the scene. I'll be watching it. My headphones are in. Walter's playing a game, and then off to the side, he'll just hear me be like, "What?" Or, "Oh my God."
Uh-huh.
And there was a lot of that this episode because I was in agony over what Brenda was doing, but then also what Dylan wasn't saying. The lack of rhythm from everyone. Oh my God. Okay, so Music Snob is going to come out for a minute. Maybe more. But, and what's really upsetting is at first I thought, oh, this is just not the original song. But no, I watched the original music because you had to send it to me this week. So I'm like, oh no. Now, there's still the fact that they probably didn't have music playing when they were shooting this.
Yeah, probably.
Because you can't, it gets in the way of editing and discrepancies and all that. So I'll give them that slight benefit. But either way, people weren't on rhythm. The karaokeing was astronomically bad.
It really was.
Like, I can forgive bad singing. I can't forgive bad rhythm.
It's tough.
Like, yeah. I know. Like, sometimes finding the rhythm is really challenging. And I'm still being generous with that because it's not a struggle I have. Right. However, as someone who feels less and less comfortable moving her body the way she used to, I can be somewhat more forgiving than I used to be. But yeah, this episode was a challenging on too many levels. And so I'm glad I took many days before I rewatched it because it was just agonizing.
It's rough. You have not seen The Jerk, have you?
I've only seen, I think, the first half.
Okay, well, in the first half, you've seen this joke where he's growing up. He was born a poor black child, and he's like on the porch with his family, and they're all singing songs, and he's up there going. Like his rhythm is like the worst, whitest rhythm ever, and it's so funny. The physicality of Steve Martin doing that amount of clapping and snapping is so great. So yeah, the rhythm sins in this are they're Navin R. Johnson-esque. That's 100% true. The question I had was, have any of the people singing these songs ever heard these songs?
They had to have, because that song shows up on Full House as well. Like, this was clearly a big song at the time.
What? Which one? Do Wah Diddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here are the songs for anyone who hasn't seen this recently, or is I don't even know if you can see it. It's probably not. It's not streaming anywhere.
No.
But these are the songs that they perform. The song that Jim first performs is "Do Wah Diddy" by Manfred Mann, which is also in Stripes. They sing that when they're marching. Oh. There she was, just walking down the street singing, and then everybody else.
Dum diddy do.
She looked good, look good, look. Yeah, like, and they're in rhythm because they're marching. Yeah. Right? Like, it's army shit. All right. Steve and Andrea are listening to that lady sing, who she sings "Your Cheating Heart" by Hank Williams. Jim gets back up and sings "Bebop Aluba." Tim and Brenda sing "Wild Thing" by the Trogs. I think I love you. And the last guy, puts it over the edge, straw that broke the camel's back guy, is singing "To All the Girls I've Loved Before" by Julio Iglesias, which is like, that's a choice. And they're all fucking terrible. Like, every one of them is bad. And I think that might be one of the things that this episode might really be about, because it's the thing this episode nailed with Hawkeye-like precision. Like, it was up on the building, hitting invading alien hordes in the eyeball with arrows, is how accurate this was. Karaoke gets old real fast. That's one of the things this episode is about.
Sure.
Because karaoke is super fun.
Yeah.
You can't do it every single night. And if the place that is your regular haunt suddenly becomes every night is karaoke, you're going there once a month.
Yeah.
You're not going there every day. It's too fucking much. Yeah. And it got to be too much for the gang from West Bev real fast, right around Julio. Yeah. And I think that is, like, it's very true. And I don't think that was, maybe the whole point of this episode is be careful with karaoke.
Maybe, and it's funny because it's something I want to do for my upcoming birthday. I miss singing so much, and it seems like the only place I'm going to get to do it for right now is a karaoke bar.
Because karaoke is fun once a year. You know, it's my birthday. I want a karaoke. I happen to be in Japan.
Oh man, yeah. I'm saving it for Nostalgia Corner. I can't go in too deep on this because I only have pleasant memories.
Yeah, I mean, I like karaoke. It's fun. I have my go-tos. I can't really sing that well, but I find my lane. Like, I don't go for "Take on Me" by Aha. Which is the worst. Like, have you ever been in a karaoke place where someone tries that song?
Yeah. Oh,
of course you have, because it happens every time. Because people think they can sing that song, and they forget about the high notes. They can't get it. No one in a karaoke bar.
Yeah, I shouldn't have tried it, but
no one in a karaoke bar gets that note. It's always. It's like being stabbed in the ear with an ice pick every time it happens. So when you hear you're just like, oh fuck.
Smoking break.
This is over. This is rough. I can't do this anymore. But what I'm good at is knowing the lyrics of things, especially things that go quickly.
Oh, nice.
So I will do "It's the End of the World as We Know It" by REM,
Oh,
because
okay.
it's not very singy, it's very talky, but it's very fast, and I know the words. And knowing the words to that song gets you a round of applause. Like, it just
Nice.
does. If you get to the end of it and you've gotten all the words right, people are like, damn, good job. Good job knowing those words. So that's how I lean in for the karaoke. But I haven't karaokeed in a minute because that's okay.
Well,
I'm fine.
come here for June 12th, and we'll find a place to go sing.
No one wants to hear that. Actually, everyone wants to hear me sing. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, yeah, karaoke, it wears out its welcome. And it certainly does here. And Reset.
I mean, I think so. Part of that leans into what I think this episode is about, which is
Okay.
that I think at some point we all need a new audience / new
Sure.
attention,
Yeah.
because, and I'll start with the karaoke of it, because Jim is clearly not being indulged musically at home. So he
Yeah.
needs to be around people who will support his musical career. I
Yeah.
get that. You know, like, I hate that singing is seen as something annoying to other people. I get
Mm-hmm.
why, but at the same time, like, if you do it well or if you love it, like, maybe just let people sing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so he clearly needs some attention there.
Yeah.
And then obviously, with all the relationships, I mean, Brenda's needing some attention or wanting some other attention because Dylan has more serious, more mature issues
Mm-hmm.
and is
At least
taking
this week.
care of those. Yeah, that's true. He's needing, I think he's needing a different kind of attention because Brenda has seen him at his weakest,
Mm-hmm.
and this other woman, Sarah Betty, hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has a chance to be a hero and to help her be the strong one.
Mm-hmm. And that's been Dylan's arc all season, right? Like, he
Yeah.
started out the season really not wanting the help of others, but needing it.
Yeah.
You know, he gets injured. He has to go live with the Walshes. Iris comes to town. He bucks hard against that. He starts drinking again. She gives him money and fucks off because that's what Iris does.
Yeah.
And then things go calm for Dylan. You know, because now there's no one taking care of him, and he's clearly uncomfortable in the being taken care of role. This gives him a chance to do the other thing.
Yeah.
This gives him a chance to take care of somebody, which I get. It makes total sense.
Absolutely. Sarah, obviously, I don't know if it's so much. I mean, she does need attention, but she also needs distraction. And maybe getting some nicer attention is that wanted distraction from alcohol, from the unhealthy relationships.
Yeah.
And Tim just wants attention because his mother told him that, why wouldn't any girl want you?
That's right. You're so adorable, Timmy Tim.
So yeah, this is all about the human need for attention.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that, you know, we don't always know that we need someone else to tell us that we're good.
Yeah.
You know, but it's really nice to get that. It's nice to get that positive reinforcement from someplace that you don't normally get it. You know, so for Jim, everybody's like, Jim, you're a fucking kick-ass accountant. But nobody says, Jim, you got the pipe, son. Get up there and sing. No one gives Jim the mic and lets him shine.
No.
He needs it. Jim needs to sing. I mean, I don't know why Jim needs to sing. Maybe it's that creative thing that was killed in him when he went the opposite direction from Glenn.
Think so.
Yeah, there's something here. There's something here that Jim needs creatively. And here's where Jim's wrong. he's 100% right. Get up there and embarrass the shit out of your kids. Like that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But lean into it. Like you have to have the self-awareness to know that when you're a parent of teenagers and you get up on a karaoke machine, you are going to mortify them. It doesn't matter if you're Bono.
Yeah.
You are cringe when you get up there. You just are. So really do it.
Yeah.
Like embarrass them on purpose with malice aforethought. Like get in there and embarrass the shit out of these kids. It's not for accidentally embarrassing them.
Yeah.
And because the end result is the same. They're embarrassed, but it's how much fun you can have with it when you're doing it on purpose that matters, I think. And Jim's up there for Jim. Jim's not up there to pick on his children. And I think that's the wrong motivation.
I mean, that's where I would go wrong. If I went karaokeing with my niblets, which if people don't know that term, it's a fun combination of niece and nephews.
There you go.
There you go. But yeah,
and
I mean,
corn,
I would be
corn niblets.
there. You, oh, gross. Gross for my tummy. But like, if I got up there and sang in front of them, I would be playing it way too seriously and then be so damaged by the end of the night and their embarrassment. I'd be like, what? No, I didn't do it right.
No, they would not be. There's no way you can get up there and have them at the end of the night say, Aunt Leslie's a really good singer. That's not what's going to happen. There's no chance. Okay, so here's something else that I think that this is about. You can't force other people to make good decisions.
No.
And people keep trying. Like Kelly keeps trying to remind Brenda that she has a boyfriend. And she still ends up snogging with Tim. And Dylan keeps trying to get Bosch out of Betty's apartment. And Bosch keeps coming back with a bottle of hooch. And Betty, in the end, kicks Dylan out. Like you can't make her do this.
No.
Which is what John Densmore tells Dylan. Like you have to work your program and let her work hers. That's how this goes. You can't make her do it. And Dylan wants so badly to keep her on the right path.
Yeah.
But you can't force people to do that. They have to do that on their own. And that's why addiction is so frustrating for the loved ones of people with addiction. Is you just want to stop it. You just want to get them to stop this thing they're doing that's very damaging for them. But you can't make them. They have to do it on their own. I guess you can convince Nat to make a good decision when you tell him at the end to just fuck off with the karaoke already. But like Jim's trying to like up the business. He's trying, and it's working. Like, there's a whole revenue stream coming into the pit that wasn't before.
I mean, isn't that the part of running a business is, you take risks and hope for the best?
Yeah, calculated risks. And this one's a good one because it did work. Jim was right. Jim's client was right.
It should have just been one night a week or one night a month, honestly. To do it every single night,
it's too much.
It's
too much.
I mean, this is why if places do that kind of thing, every night you do it after certain hours.
Uh-huh.
So you get the least amount of people showing up.
Right. Or just a different crowd,
Yeah.
That was the thing that I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I think I might have told you about it. There was just like a neighborhood bar that I started going to with a little bit of regularity while I would drop Liam off at practice, and it would be an hour, and I can sit in my car, or I can go sit at this bar and have a drink and watch a sporting event or whatever.
Yeah.
And it would usually be like on a Monday. And so it's like there's like locals. There's regulars at this place. And I would sort of, they're back again. And then I walked in there on a Thursday once, and it was trivia night. And it's a whole different crowd.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different energy, and it's basically a different bar. Like on Monday, I could sit there and edit the podcast with headphones in at the bar on my laptop.
Wow.
Couldn't do that on a Thursday. It was too much going on. And that's what Cheers gets wrong.
Yeah.
Because every night is the same at Cheers. It's the same crowd, it's the same vibe. It's like every
Norm.
again, there's a Red Sox game on. Yeah, exactly. Where they turn the little TV on, but it's not a appreciably different place. I
Yeah.
think bars are different places night to night in order to bring in a different crowd and fresh money.
Yep.
So, and that's what, if Nat really wanted to do this, that's what Nat should have done, is monthly, or monthly feels right. Weekly still feels aggressive unless you're going to do it on like Tuesday or something.
I'm used to weekly things just from
Sure.
when I was a regular karaoke singer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, monthly, I feel like for the Peach Pit, that feels more right.
Yeah. And you could do a trivia night. Although people weren't doing trivia nights quite as much in the early 90s. I think that was a later 90s thing.
And I mean, to go back to Cheers, like, I don't feel like bars were having to, add a lot of bells and whistles. Like, they were like, we have alcohol. What more do you want?
It's the Reagan era. Drink up.
Exactly. Like, and the fact too that there's a restaurant upstairs and that most of the time people are waiting down there anyways, I mean, it is mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's a good business model though. If you can be like the waiting room for a very popular restaurant next door or upstairs, I think that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just, as much as you try, you can't make people make good choices, and it just keeps falling flat all over the place for folks in this episode.
Do we dare get into the Brenda and Dylan of it all? Because like we were going back and forth on text last night.
Yeah. So,
because there's definitely stuff here, and like I was already aggravated with Brenda, and I think you're supposed to be. But the thing that makes me mad is that it's unfair to only be mad at her or to have most of your ire with her in this, because yes, she's actively flirting.
mm-hmm.
However, Tim is also an adult, supposedly. And
I bet Tim is like a freshman.
Okay, fair.
I mean, he like, I never once, although I wasn't pre-med, but I never once introduced myself to someone by my major. Like, I never was like, I go to Indiana. I'm a history poli-sci major.
Well, that's a medical student for you.
Yeah, I'm pre-med. Okay, good job.
Yeah, good job. And actually, I'm going to leave Tim out of this for a minute, because, like, yes, she's actively flirting. And Dylan, while not actively flirting, I feel like is withholding important information. And I don't understand I don't understand why. He had many opportunities to say, like, oh, Brenda, yeah, the girl, one of the twins who saved you, like, yeah, we're dating now. Or like, when she said, I need you to stay over, go, okay, maybe let me call my girlfriend, because like, not saying he needs permission, but I don't think any of us are going to feel great about our partner staying at someone else's house who could be someone of interest. Just, I don't know. Again, it's just simple letting someone else know where you are, because she does call his house and get worried about, like, he wasn't there.
Right. And then Dylan has the same thing with Sarah. Like, he keeps calling her house and she's not there.
Yeah.
So he has worry there too. Yeah.
I really like how they handled all of this. I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, just like for all of the arguing we could possibly do, I'm glad how they handled it, instead of having them just start having a fight, being full of jealous rage. They handled it very maturely.
Yeah. Do I need to worry about this guy? Not anymore. Like that conversation they have in his house later. I think, no, I like that. Okay. I think I agree they both transgress.
Yeah.
And Dylan even says in that last scene, like, she's like, why didn't you tell me this? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me. It makes sense to me that Dylan is conflicted because when he sees Sarah, he sees her as someone in AA who might need his help, not someone he's interested in, because he wasn't interested in her before. That
True.
wasn't their relationship. So he doesn't get into she's my girlfriend. He could, but Brenda doesn't do that either, and she knows what she's doing. Like, she is on purpose not mentioning that she has a boyfriend for at least 3 hits.
Yeah.
And then Kelly's like, ahem, and she's like, oh, and I also have a boyfriend.
She hasn't had enough dudes slut shame her yet for turning them down, because pretty soon that'll turn into anxiety where you just blurt that out for no reason and then you get weird looks. I'm not talking from personal experience or anything.
Nope, no one thinks you are. This is all hypothetical. That's what I say. So I agree that they both are, like, they're both making bad relationship choices if their priority is their relationship with one another.
Yeah.
I think that Dylan's poor choices come from a better place than do Brenda's.
Yes.
Because Dylan is trying to be an active participant in Sarah's recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Brenda is trying to be an active participant in Tim hitting on her.
Yeah. See, and when you put it like that, again, this is a more logical way of... This isn't even a debate or a fight, but like, because I'm thinking about how any other conversation about this would go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that we are the type of people to toot our own horn. But because you're right, you know, his transgression is coming from a more, a place of, I wrote this in my notes, flirting versus caring. He's coming from a caring place.
Yeah.
And I think the deeper problem is that Brenda wants to be with someone who is not, who hasn't been forced to be an adult. She wants someone, she thinks she wants someone older and more worldly, but the thing is, you know, and they sort of touch on this with her conversation with Brandon, the real possessive boyfriend in Brenda's life. Like, you are supposed to date other people. You are supposed to kiss other people. Hopefully not at the, you know, at the risk of hurting someone else, but like, it should be light and carefree. You know, yes, young love is wonderful and it happens, but like, it should just be easy. These are the easy years. You're not being forced into marriage, hopefully, like people used to be. So I think deep down, Brenda is suppressing a need for something easier.
Yeah. This is their relationship. I mean, it got too serious at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
Right? Where they finally had sex and then she was like pregnancy scare.
Yeah.
And everything got too heavy for her, which is why they broke up at the beginning of last summer. And so possibly it's feeling that way again.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm going to this cardio funk class because my 18-year-old boyfriend is in his AA meeting.
Yeah.
It's a fucking sentence, you know? And she meets a guy who is clearly interested in her and who is like, I'd rather go eat than study organic chem, which is a perfectly reasonable 20-year-old point of view.
Sure.
Like, I'd rather do lots of stuff than study organic chem.
Yeah.
So, you know, and Dylan says, I can't stay here and fuck off karaoke. I've got to go try to save someone's life.
Yeah.
So it's a lot heavier to be with Dylan if you're Brenda.
Yeah.
And so I could see her wanting something light, you know. And Tim's a cheese ball, which is like also reminds her of her dad. Like, let's be real.
Okay, I'm gonna digress briefly, but when he offered her a ride home, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
his family is literally there,
All of them.
all of them. And then
He's
she was
got
like,
everyone she knows.
thanks for giving me a ride home. My mom would never. She'd be like, why do you need a ride home with this guy? We're
Right.
right here.
Yep.
No, we're taking you home. I see what you're trying to do. Okay, she wouldn't have gone that far, but
Yeah. Trying to get some.
not in my front yard.
That's right. And they've been talking for an awfully long time. What about Dylan?
It's
They're
just
just talking.
It's never just talking.
No. Yeah, so I they're both not great in this episode. But there's something grosser about what Brenda's up to than what Dylan's up to, because he doesn't catch on that Sarah is into him in that way
No.
until she tries to kiss him.
Yeah.
And he kisses her back, and then he stops it and says, "Look, I got a girlfriend. I didn't bring it up because I didn't think it was like germane to the discussion, but I have a girlfriend, and this is not what this is." And still tries to help, still tries to be there for Sarah, but like, he is prioritizing another woman over the woman he's dating.
Yeah.
And that, like, if you're Brenda, that sucks. Even though she gets it, it sucks. And Dylan is so distracted that he sees everything that's happening with Tim, but he just has to let that shit slide for right now. I got no bandwidth for whatever the fuck this is. I'm over here right now.
Yeah.
And that's reasonable. But not great if that's your relationship,
No.
at 18.
No. So
Yeah.
I hope they have some deeper conversations, because again, it just seems like there is something there that needs discussing, and that they have the ability to do it, but I don't know if the show's going to be smart enough to do it,
Yeah. There's something I just don't want to say, so we'll come back to it in later episodes.
Okay.
But just remember that there was some stuff I wanted to say in Cardio Funk.
Just wanted to say stuff in Cardio Funk. Got it.
Yeah. And then when you said it, I'm gonna be like, what? What was that? What did I want to say? No, I'll remember this. I think one other thing that this might be about is that life doesn't move in a straight line.
No.
So, like, you have this idea, and I encounter this a lot when I'm talking to Indiana basketball fans, where they're like, we should, like, there's just this expectation that, like, every year is going to be better than last year until you win a championship, and then you continue to win championships.
Yeah.
Because it just goes up, 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 up. It doesn't. It goes up and then it regresses. And then it goes up a little bit and it regresses. And sometimes you get a great thing and then it falls back down. And sometimes you get a really shitty thing and it builds back up again. And that's how life goes. And that's recovery. Like, Dylan wants Sarah's recovery to be a smooth line from I hit rock bottom and now I'm on my way up. And it's not like that. It's you do okay for a little while and then you slip. And then you get back on and hopefully and you continue to do better until you finally figure it out, or you don't and you're dead. Like, but it's not a straight line, and neither is their relationship. Like, it's not always getting better and better and better and better. Sometimes it's, we used to come in here and tear each other's clothes off, and now you're like, do you want a sandwich? Like, sometimes your relationship peaks and valleys in that way.
So what I'm gathering is it would just be better if we stopped promoting this idea that everything happens on a straight line.
Of course. Like, nothing does.
Because I do keep seeing memes all the time that, like, healing is not linear. grief is not linear, you know, and it's the same thing here too, because I'm
Mhm.
thinking too, like as an actor, you know, like, you know, it's a lot of peaks and valleys.
Mhm.
And you know, the valleys could be for something so insane like a pandemic or strikes, like,
Right.
or the creation of AI. Like it is so insane to me that
Mhm.
the stuff getting in a bunch of our, you know, a bunch of actors' way.
Sure. And sometimes it's even like you did Moonlighting, and then you did Die Hard, and then you did Hudson Hawk. Like, it's not a straight line. You like some things you do are just going to be giant turd sandwiches, and and some things in life are just going to be giant turd sandwiches, and that's what we're experiencing here. Even the Peach Pit, like, we spent a lot of money on the renovations, and then we got a little bit of a recession going on here. Thanks, George W. Bush, H.W. Bush.
I was to
Sorry,
say H.
wrong Bush. Barr. Um, that was my George Bush impression talking to his wife.
He called her Bar.
Yeah. Now Barr.
Oh
That's
my
why I think
god.
Dana Carvey called her Barr, and then also when George Bush was on The Simpsons, it wasn't George Bush did not voice his own voice on The Simpsons, but
No.
the character of George Bush was on The Simpsons. Now Barr. Um, so yeah, thanks Bush for the recession. But like things were going okay for the pit, like well enough that we got money to invest.
Yeah.
And now the recession hits, and you don't see the bills, Brandon. Things are struggling. It's tough here. So we're trying something out, and we go to, and then you discover, oh, all my regulars are real sick of this shit, and then you got to start building again. Like nothing happens in a straight line, and I think the episode is good about putting us on that path of hills and valleys, strikes and gutters. It's what
I think
happens.
I might need to put that on one of my post-its over my dresser to remember nothing happens in a straight line.
Nothing's a straight line. You can crochet it on a pillow.
You know,
But then
I do love cross stitching. So
some of those are going to have to be straight lines on there in order to spell words. But so it'll
send you the shittiest cross stitch.
Oh, I know what that says.
Nothing happens in a straight line.
The N's here and the O's here, but they don't even look like letters.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it. Look, it'll just look like vomit. And I know what this means. I know what this says. All right. So what do you got for Nostalgia Corner?
Oh man, it's karaoke, baby.
Nice.
When so I was lucky enough to get to spend a lot of my summers in college still on campus.
Uh-huh.
Because I would be I was about to say either or, but no, I would be acting and stuff, and I would be working in the costume shop. Best summers. Amazing.
Nice.
I thought that's what my professional life was going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to those days.
Still can be.
It still could be. We are in a deep
straight line, kid.
Long Valley. But yeah, so a bunch of the other theater kids who would still be in town, we would go to the Office Lounge. Shoutouts to dive bars, towny bars in Bloomington, Indiana. And we would go do karaoke, and I'm sure we annoyed the shit out of them because we were not always doing musicals, but maybe some of the more annoying stuff.
Sure. People who need people.
No, usually when I want to do something musical theater adjacent, I will do ABBA.
Okay.
Or one of my
that doesn't even count. Jukebox musicals don't count as musicals in this context.
Okay.
Because you're doing an ABBA song. You're not doing a song from Mamma Mia. You're doing it in an ABBA song.
Yeah.
Even if in your heart you're doing a song from Mamma Mia because that's where you were first introduced to this song, you're still not doing you're doing ABBA.
One of my other go-tos is Irene Cara's song in Fame, not Fame, but Out Here on My Own. That's a
Okay.
that's a, one of my favorites. So
Nice.
shout outs
You got
to
big dreams? You
karaoke.
want fame?
Yeah.
Well, fame costs. And right now is where you start paying in sweat.
Damn.
Yep. That's in that song, but it's also in the opening credits of the TV show Fame.
Oh my God, of
That's
course it
That's
is.
Debbie Allen doing that. No,
So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
karaoke in Bloomington. Good times.
Yeah,
Great oldies.
it's-
Yeah.
I have almost an anti-nostalgia for not being able to get people on the phone and then having no idea if they're alive.
Oh
You know what I
no.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
even if it's not like a life or death thing, even if it's not a like I'm worried that they're out there like, you know, in a car wreck. But like if it's just like I'm feeling insecure in my relationship and I call you and you're not home.
Yeah.
And I can't even text you to get a text back or, you know, look at your socials and see that you're at the movies or I don't know, whatever people do. I don't fucking know. But just like that horrible pit in your stomach feeling of really feeling like you need to check in with somebody and you can't get them on the phone because they're not home and they don't have a cell phone you can call.
Yeah.
Like if they're just not home, I don't know where they are. They could be in the hospital. They could be in the bottom of the East River. They could be at a karaoke bar. They could be watching a movie. They could be they could be any place, and that's so unnerving.
That's where you got to do the thing that they do on older TV shows. Like you call the bar where they frequent. You're like,
Right.
"Is Bob there? Put him on for me."
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't work if you're 18 and you don't frequent a bar.
Oh, fair.
You know, it's tougher when you're in high school.
Oh.
So it's just is that thing was like, ugh, like pre cell phone. That feeling sucked. Now if like now it's if this person doesn't answer or reply, it's not because you couldn't get to them. It's because they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Right, they don't want to talk to you for some reason, or they could be busy, whatever. But it's not like it takes the mystery out of. I all I can do is call your house, and if you aren't in your house, then I don't know. Or if you're Betty and drunk in your house and you just don't want to answer the phone, then I don't know that either.
Yeah.
You know, but if I call your cell and you know you don't get back to me in some amount of time, then it's not there's not the same like danger of it
You're
necessarily.
either dead or you hate me, and most likely you hate me. Like that's where my brain goes.
Mine used to do that. I've really trained myself out of it. I used to be that way with email. Like if someone doesn't respond to me, they're angry. But they probably just forgot. Like, you know, not everything's about you is sort of what I had to learn.
No, I'm getting there very slowly.
Yeah, you'll get there eventually. Nothing's a straight line.
Oh, I need it to be. I need some things to be straighter.
Yeah, I get that. Things are fluid. That's all there is to it. Happy Pride.
Yeah. Happy Pride, y'all.
I did it. Even though like this is airing way after Pride, we're recording it in June.
Listen, we celebrate Pride all year around here.
That's true. That's right.
That's what I keep telling myself as I have to remind myself again, you're not a bad person if you don't go to a Pride event because you care about, you know.
You care about people every day.
You care about people every day. Like, it's okay.
Yep. It's okay that my least favorite day in Chicago is Pride Parade Day because the path it cuts, like the parade route, makes east-west travel impossible at a certain point. Like, which means that although where I live far enough north, I can go around the top of it. But before I did, when I lived in like the range of streets where the parade would happen, you could not get to Lakeshore Drive, which meant you really couldn't get downtown.
No.
And if you had to do that, you were so fucked. And I got caught in Pride Parade traffic like 3 or 4 times in a row because I'm not paying attention to the world. And I'm like, this sucks.
It is a shame when something so fun gets in the way of your driving because, like, I'll never forget, I got waylaid by the naked bike race in Portland. And I was like,
Uh,
this is amazing and awful at the same time. Like, I can't
yeah,
get home. I just want to get home, but there's naked bikes everywhere.
that's right. And it's a good reason not to make it home. But yeah, and to be honest, all parades kind of irritate me. I don't understand standing and watching traffic. I just don't get it. But, you know, the this one seems to like be pretty lively anyway. You know,
I mean,
better
it
than
was
a
kind of
drunken St. Patrick's Day parade.
like glitter, scarves, a bunch of wonderful like stickers galore. You're gonna feel better after it, but you know, still some annoyance probably at like
The traffic is tough for me. That's really what it boils down to.
if I
The
could
traffic
find a
is tough.
way to go to the Pride Parade, but like watch it as like Statler and Waldorf and just not I don't like crowds. I'm still not over pandemic trauma, and that's okay. I
Yeah,
just don't like crowds.
you'd like a theater box for the parade.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Yep. I mean, the problem is we have a balcony parade culture that involves flashing people. So if you're up on a balcony watching a parade, 1,000% you're going to get yelled at to show your tits.
Okay.
1,000%. I mean, I'm just saying it's going to happen a lot.
I haven't gotten to do any nudity for a film yet, and by the time I do, they're going to be old looking. So I figure I'm 35, it needs to be happening soon, or the world is just never going to see them. And I don't want to deprive the world.
I'm not going to suggest that you start an OnlyFans, but I mean, if you really want to scratch this itch, there are ways to do it.
No, I was gonna create one for feet and do like a Victorian thing. I haven't. Again, it all takes so much more time than I am able to wrap my head around.
I get it. All right, who's the Steve Sanders Memorial worst person of the episode?
It's Tim Matthews for me. He just reminded me of too many dudes I've met, and I found him to be super annoying. And, you know, clearly, even if Brenda had said no from the get-go, he wasn't going to take that for an answer.
He wasn't.
And he was going to keep bothering her. I didn't like also that, once he finally gets told no for the, 10th time, then he goes, oh, hey, Kelly.
Right.
Kelly, you deserve better. Tim, go away. Leave these high school girls alone. You're in college, man.
Yep.
Ugh.
There are other girls around. But maybe all the girls there are sick of his shit.
Probably. So, yeah, fuck Tim.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Tim sucks. The answer, of course, is Tim, but it's also Jim, because you subjected all of us to that karaoke. You got up there more than once and sang a song that it feels like you never heard before. You're just like, your rhythms are weird. You're not saying the words in the way that they're said. It's just, I don't know, Jim. It's just, it's rough. It's rough to subject us to all of that. And so for my money, if you're going to start the episode with the B plot, I'm going to give the worst person of the episode to the B plot. And
That's fair.
It lands on Jim. But yeah, Tim, back the fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, just all the way across the board, back off.
Gross.
I think that's our message for Timmy Boy today. All right, so I think we did it.
We did.
So join us on Friday for the After Dark, where we had initially talked about doing the movie Perfect, which is has people in leotards and shit.
Cool.
John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis and stuff. But also now I'm thinking maybe The Doors would be an interesting thing to watch because of the John Dent.
I'm down.
So, yeah. So tune in Friday to see what it is we decided to watch. But I'm feeling like The Doors is an interesting choice. And then join us next week, Cheesemeisters, for season 2, episode 24, The Pit and the Pendulum, which is another Peach Pit centric episode.
Oh.
Yep. And one that I made mention of in season 1 as an example of Brandon getting up in some people's faces.
Oh no. Do we meet
Yeah.
Willie?
I don't know. I don't remember when Willie first talks.
Oh man.
Um, but Willie's like always around. Like he's in the background.
Okay.
In a lot of episodes. But yeah, I don't know when Willie first talks.
It's not your lunchtime.
No. So until then, Cheesemeisters.
Bye.
Bye.